NSFAS has received an unqualified audit opinion with findings from the Auditor General of South Africa. This, they say, is a significant achievement and a step in the right direction for the public entity. They say they will bring various observations to the attention of the Higher Education Minister, saying that the Auditor General has noted that there was a significant improvement in the overall audit outcome when compared to prior years, with some challenges remaining with the performance reporting. Ernest Khosa is NSFAS Board Chairperson and joins us now. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. So we know with the advent of COVID-19, there were a lot of challenges, and we know a lot more people seem to qualify for NSFAS funding because of this. So just looking at 2022, up against these challenges, what would you classify it as, your experience and what you've learned following the AG's report?
Thank you so much, Sepiso, and greetings this evening to the viewers. We are in the third heavens. We're jubilant. We're very happy with the findings from the Auditor General. If you look at where we come from, when we started seven months ago, we had three problems. The first one was the Auditor General's report. The second one had to do with the availability of funding. The third problem had to do with the policies that NSFAS has. So the findings by the Auditor General are very exciting indeed. As we project into what we foresee as problems next year, we may still have challenges regarding funding. We foresee that the number of students who are going to make applications to NSFAS is going to grow because of the impact of COVID-19. We have had a taste of that this year, as in the beginning of the year, we had a shortfall of about 6 billion rands, and we're not in a position to take decisions. So,
which is what I was going to get to, because you had, I think, a total of 150,000 students who went unfunded, and an additional more than 6 billion rand that was made available because of the situation that you found yourself in. That is obviously unsustainable long term. Where are you going to raise funds? Well,
this year the department came to our assistance. We believe that the challenge of funding for higher education in South Africa is bigger than NSFAS, is bigger than the Department of Education. And for us to be able to deal with the demand in future, we may need the participation of more than government. Actually, time has come for the private sector to come on board. The private sector is the biggest consumer of skills. And we believe with the audit outcome that we got, we now have a leg to stand on to confront the private sector and say, the funding crisis in this country is our elephant. Please come join us.
But how would you then seek to change your funding policy? And I speak against the integrity of data from institutions, as in who qualifies, who doesn't. And I know there are quite a number of students that also failed who received NSFAS funding. How would you approach that?
Well, policies, NSFAS policies have been at the heart of the problem for some time, and to a very great extent, they were a source of instability if you look at what happened earlier this year. So the board has, in the first 4 months, reviewed the policies, and in reviewing the policies, we involved our major stakeholder, the students themselves. We are now undertaking a roadshow, talking to universities to make inputs into how the policies should change. And we visited a couple of universities recently, including Fort Hare and Walter Sisulu University. So policies are going to change because they are unsustainable. For example, the eligibility criteria that dictates that a combined family income of 350,000 should be the criterion for funding. It's unsustainable. The fact that we are unable to fund students who are doing postgraduate diplomas is also unsustainable. We have made some policy changes which have got to be submitted to government, but here is the catch, Tshepiso. The policy changes have got financial implications, and we need more than the Department of Education to service the policy changes.
Of these 9 policy reforms that you are looking at, does it possibly mean if you don't get more support from the private sector and just also in line with these changes, could it mean less students are funded, or students are going to end up qualifying for less money, or maybe go without funding for accommodation?
Well, if the policies are not approved, it will mean we're going to fund less students. But we've got no reason to believe that we're going to be approved. We have got a very supportive shareholder in the person of the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Blades Zemanda, who is very responsive and passionate about students, and the department in general. So we believe, based on the consultations that we have got sufficient support from stakeholders to push these policy changes. It's just that the policy changes cannot be implemented immediately. There are processes, and it will take some time. But we believe in the end the policy changes make sense, and they will be accepted.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. Wish we had more time. That there is the NSFAS Board Chairperson speaking to us, Ernest Khosa. Now it's